कौस्तुभालङ्कृतं कण्ठदेशे श्रियाजुष्टकेयोरकं श्रीनिवासं शिवं शान्तमीड्यं वरं लोकपालं परब्रह्मलिङ्गं भजे पाण्डुरङ्गम्। Ramakrishna Hari. Welcome everybody. I am starting new video series and topic of this video series is what is the locus of Sukham. We are going to discuss thoroughly this happiness point. What is the locus of this Sukham? And you may feel, why do we need to discuss this happiness topic? Why? Because in Vyavahara, in transactional world, we see when do we do inquiry? When we have ambiguity about that thing or about that object, then and then only we do inquiry. For example, if you have some doubt about me, whether I am man or woman, then only you can do inquiry about me. If you clearly know I am a man, then I would not do any inquiry about myself. Or in a broad daylight, if you perceive any object clearly, there is no doubt about that object, then you will not do inquiry about that. So somebody will say, why do we need to do inquiry about this happiness? Because we know what is happiness, we know what is the locus of happiness, then why this inquiry? So I would like to tell you, if you think little bit more, then you will find we have ambiguity about this Sukham, and therefore this inquiry has to be done. What is that ambiguity? You take a simple project. In that project, on piece of paper, you write joy giving things in your life. Whether they may be objects, they may be people, you write down their names who are joy giving things. And on this same paper, at the back of that paper, you write down what all things they are giving sorrow in your life. If you enumerate them, then you will find whatever things were giving me Sukham, that things alone they are giving me sorrow now. Then you will have a question whether that thing contains happiness or sorrow, because same thing at different time gives me happiness and sorrow. So there will be ambiguity about this Sukham. That's why it is worth inquiring the locus of Sukham. So we will start our inquiry of locus of Sukham. You know, we feel Sukham is there in these many objects. But Shastra, Vedanta, Jnaneshwar Maharaj, they don't say Sukham is there in that object or in the people. But our experience is that we feel of Sukham from so many things. So in this video, we will go through all kinds of possibilities of Sukham, and one by one we will negate them on the basis of thinking. Intellectually, on the basis of thought, we will negate all kinds of possibility, and we will culminate what is the locus of Sukham. So generally, what is our idea? We feel Sukham is there in that object. This is the first possibility of Sukham which is well known in the world. For example, if you are sitting quietly in your room and suddenly your most desired object comes in front of you, like a pizza, for example pizza, and when you have that pizza, that time you feel Sukham, you feel happiness. So generally what immediate thought is there? Sukham is there in that object. And this is well known, well experienced by whole world. But today, I am going to tell you something more about this. Something greater than this. Our Vedanta Shastra, Jnaneshwar Maharaj, Shankaracharya ji, Tukaram Maharaj, they don't say Sukham is there in that object. They don't agree to this point. Sukham is the attribute of that object. Now we have to analyze whether Sukham is there in that object or not. If logically we prove Sukham is not there, then we have to accept that thing in our life. So I will give 4 reasons why Sukham cannot be there in any object according to our Shastra. So let us start thinking. We feel Sukham is there in that pizza. Okay, alright. Sukham is there in that pizza. Now my counter argument is that if Sukham is there in that pizza, when I have that pizza, that after finishing of that pizza, another desire should not rise in my bosom. If having eaten that pizza, another desire comes for another pizza, then it shows that Sukham was not there in that first pizza. You know, any desire, it proves that discontentment is there. So after having any object in this world, if I have further desire for another object, it shows that first object did not have any kind of happiness. For example, if I have one Apple 10 mobile and I am very much happy with that mobile, but after having that mobile in my hand, if another desire comes that I should have Apple 11, that means Sukham was not there in Apple 10. This was my point. So Sukham, this way it will get negated by another object, again another object. Like that, it is very difficult to figure out what is the locus of Sukham. So first reason we saw, if another desire comes in my mind, then Sukham is not there in first object. Now second thought, if Sukham was the attribute or dharma of that object, then that object should me give Sukham all the time. If Sukham is the dharma of that object, then that object should give me Sukham all the time. For example, if Sukham is there in that pizza, then that pizza give me Sukham all the time. Not only when I am hungry. It should give me Sukham all the time. Even if I wake up at the night, that time pizza should give me the Sukham. But this doesn't happen. One day we will have pizza, second day we will have pizza, third day we will ask for something different. Means pizza doesn't give me happiness all the time. It shows that Sukham is not there in that pizza. This is my second reasoning. Now come to third reason. You know, if Sukham is there in that pizza, then that pizza should give Sukham to other person also. Wonderful fascination topic is this. I feel Sukham, happiness is there in that pizza, but at the same time other person doesn't like that pizza. If Sukham was there in that pizza, then that pizza should give Sukham to all people, not only me. The very peculiar thing is that when I go in office, when I join any company, that time I feel yes, I got the job. But some person, that same position, same job, he left that job and he switched for another company. That job gives me sukham, but same job doesn't give happiness to that another fellow. That means sukham is not there in that job, in that place. Otherwise it should have given sukham for all people, but this is not the case. Now my fourth and final argument, sukham cannot be there in object. This is my final argument. If, listen now, if sukham was there in that object, then I should not have given that object. Having forsaken that object, I go to bed and I sleep. I drop all kind of objects which are giving me sukham when I go to sleep. And in our deep sleep, there is not a single object. Still we go for sleep. If sukham was there in that object, then we would not have dropped all objects. This is my fourth argument. Now you see, if you think more, then you will find sukham cannot be there in one object, because that object will pop up desire in my bosom first. That object will not give me sukham all the time. Second, that object will not give sukham to another fellow at the same time. And fourth, that sukham I will drop and I will go for sleep. So sukham is not there in that object is for sure. Now second technical point I will explain. Second point is, sukham cannot be there in inert object. This is our technical point. Sukham will be there always in consciousness, or moreover, sukham is the nature of consciousness. Consciousness means ananda and ananda means consciousness. It cannot be there in any object. This is the answer. This is the theory. Now, very pertinent question we will discuss. What is the relevance of that question? Very powerful question. Question says, all right, sukham cannot be there in any object, understood. But my pertinent question is, if sukham was not there in that object, then why did I experience sukham from that object? See how powerful question. I know sukham is not there. Then why did I experience sukham from that object? So we have to answer now. Our Vedanta has all answers. Very systematically all answers are given. Answer is that when we are sitting calm in our room, that time suddenly one desire comes. I want ice cream. And that desire will disturb the equilibrium of your mind. Your mind is at calm state, at equipoise, and that desire will disturb that equipoise of that mind. And you will start running for that ice cream, searching for that ice cream, because that desire has prompted you. Now you will run, and the moment you start doing something, that mind is disturbed now. That disturbance of mind will not allow to derive sukham from Atma. Now when you get ice cream in your hand, that time again your mind becomes calm. Again that mind comes to equipoise, equilibrium. And then again you feel the Atma Sukham. So Sukham is not from that object. Sukham is the calmness of your mind. Our Vedanta says, very beautiful example, one bucket is there, in that bucket water is there, and in that water reflection of moon get reflected there. When that water is calm, steady, that time reflection will be clear. And when you disturb that water a little bit, then reflection of that moon will not be explicit. Same way, Atma Chaitanya is there, Ananda Swarup Atma is there, mind is there. When that mind is calm, in that calm mind, Ananda gets reflected, or Ananda manifests there. Then we experience happiness. If that mind is disturbed, then you will not feel the happiness. So happiness is depend upon your equilibrium of your mind, not on object. Because of disturbance, you feel unhappiness, and when that disturbance goes down, you feel happy. So this way, first possibility of happiness we have discovered. It is not possible object will have a sukham. Now there are so many possibilities. One by one we will negate, and we will reach into the absolute locus of happiness. So first we have to understand this, then we will move further. To watch another possibility, please watch this video to understand what are the possibilities and how they are negated by other rational thinking. Hari Om.